Let's wrap up today with some basic tips on actually applying emotional intelligence in your day-to-day life. Look, we are very, very often inclined to win the battle in order to lose the war. We like being right, and however, being right is not always in the best interest of yourself, the other person, your company, or the greater good. Proving that you are right at the cost of a relationship or at the cost of losing a war is often not productive. So, what we're trying to say here is keep the end goal in mind. Being right on a minor point while sacrificing the quality of a relationship or getting a bigger and better goal that you are trying to achieve for yourself or your company is not effective. So, improving the first areas of emotional intelligence, namely emotional self awareness and self regulation, in order to understand your own emotions, it is good to acknowledge and recognize your emotions as they surface. It means identifying an emotion and the root cause of it. It sounds obvious, but it is very, very significant for us to be able to put a label on an emotion and recognize what it is caused by. So, in other words, when you are feeling frustrated or angry, for example, you can actually say to yourself, I am feeling frustrated right now. Where is this coming from, and what do I need to do to deal with this? It is as simple as that. Expressing your emotions to others again is about labeling the emotion and trying to make sure, what am I expressing to other people? Why am I expressing this emotion? And then a terrible question to have to answer sometimes is this emotion that I'm feeling objectively valid? And also, am I expressing it accurately? In other words, is what I'm expressing not perhaps coming across in the wrong way? Now, better understanding and regulating the emotions of others firstly starts with a concept of empathy. This means relating to someone. You are trying to see the world from their perspective and try to understand where they are coming from, whether they are right or wrong about an issue, understanding how they got there and how strongly they may feel about it is going to bring you a long way in terms of reaching consensus and perhaps even bringing someone over to your point of view. Reflective and active listening is important. In other words, you can, as you listen to a person, simply validate what they are saying and reflect the content of their speech back to them. For example, saying, well, it sounds like this makes you feel frustrated, or literally just repeating what the person just said in terms of reflecting it back to them. You can keep track of negative situations that you've ended up in and where strong in negative emotions have occurred in yourself or others, especially if these occur frequently. Take some time out and analyze the situation and see what can you do in future to maybe prevent these negative emotions from coming up or being dealt with incorrectly. You can again try to attribute a cause to what the other person is feeling. In other words, try and understand why they feel another way. However, be careful of mind reading. This is something we'll discuss in a minute. You are not a clairvoyant knowing what is exactly going on in the other person's mind. What we're trying to get at here is just another form of empathy. In other words, trying to just see their point of view. If someone is experiencing a negative emotion or coming across in a negative way, again, with applying empathy, you can literally ask yourself, what is the best way of supporting this person? What is the most appropriate reaction that I can give to this situation that would help this person? It's good to let them know again that you are aware of their emotions. And then another thing that will help you get along better with other people is simply to assume positive intent. So what that means is when someone approaches you with something, it's very easy for us to quickly assume that they're coming to us with something that they want to attack us with. that they want to break us down, they want to prove us wrong, or something like that. However, very often this would cause a misunderstanding where a person actually just wants to clarify information, build a relationship, or something like that, but we assume that they are coming with a negative intention and that they are in essence against us. Let's talk quickly about emotional control, that element. Again, we're not suppressing our emotions, but we're trying to just understand where are we prone to overreacting or communicating badly in a stressful situation. We try and identify these triggers, and you can go as far as rehearsing good solutions in those strong situations, those strong emotional situations. It's also important to perhaps look at boosting your personal stress immunity. We're not going to get too much into this, but getting adequate sleep and laying off the caffeine, these kinds of things that we know we should be looking at anyway, can help us to manage our emotions a lot better in order to cope better with stress and stressful situations. Now, the ABC model of emotion is a very simple model that helps us to make sure that our beliefs and our belief systems that affect our emotions actually do not do so in a negative way. The A stands for an activating event, B is for a belief or thought, and C is the consequences that come from this belief or thought. This is an emotional consequence or a behavioral consequence. Right in the middle there, you'll see B, that thought is there between the trigger and the outcome. In other words, between what you experience and what you do, there is an opportunity for you to respond rather than react to a situation. So you can attack those beliefs that are causing you perhaps to react negatively unnecessarily. There are a couple of irrational beliefs that I just quickly want to run through with. We might be inclined to make should statements. This means that we view the world and the behavior of others in terms of what they should be doing, at least in terms of what we believe, and this is how it should work. This is how I should feel. This is what needs to happen. These kinds of things can often lead us to a point where we have a belief about a situation or another person, about how they should act or what should happen, that can actually have a negative consequence. The next one is called awfulizing. This is a bit self-explanatory. We might be inclined to see something in the most negative way and in the most negative terms, and that kind of belief will cause a negative activating event to be translated into a negative outcome, either behaviorally or emotionally. Black and white thinking, sometimes we see something as one way or the other, and we often not inclined to believe that there is a middle ground or a gray area. Be careful of this kind of thinking, as it could easily lead you down a dark emotional path. Overgeneralizing, again, self-explanatory. We tend to be able to apply small numbers of principles or insignificant principles to an overwhelmingly large set of data or information, and as such we might be inclined to draw the wrong conclusion. Personalizing, we often take the actions and the words of others personally, where what they say and do is a bigger reflection on them than it ever will be on us. Here with the end of the emotional intelligence basics. So we're not going to be getting into anything much more than this. The reason for that is the only thing that you need today is to just start by being aware of your own emotions and actually trying to maintain those positive emotions in yourself. Secondly, being aware of the emotions in others and adjusting your own behavior and outlook in order to be able to help other people maintain positive emotions and dispositions. Emotional intelligence, again, is not something that you have to absolutely master right away. And we believe that just becoming aware of this and just becoming aware of people being different will actually help you in your career and in your personal life. Good luck.